Right, well, hello again. This is John Nelson at Genie World, and welcome to our webinar, ClassComm. So if I just start, and what we are going to do today is look at how you present once you've made your slides. Remember, previous webinar on the genieworld.com website shows you how to make slides, starting with PowerPoint and using a plugin and importing them into ClassComm. So the point we're at is we've imported them and now we're ready to present. So the first thing I'm going to do is check on communication. Okay, I'm getting various messages there, but I think we're ready to start. Right, and one thing you'll notice in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen, it tells me that the receiver is connected. So you obviously need the USB ClassComm receiver plugged in. And if I go to communication, click on there, I get the grid with all the numbers on. Don't worry about the numbers and the red crosses for a reason, but everything's pretty simple. So you can see they're bluish at the moment. Now, if I just press an on button for the keypads on my, I'm using IQ pads, and again, it doesn't matter whether you're using Genie pads, IQ pads, or Pebbles, it all works in the same way. And you'll notice that I've turned on handset number 1, and that's changed colour to a sort of white silvery colour. Let's try the next one, 2, and just my last one for the moment. So I know that handsets 1, 2, and 3 are communicating, which means everything's set up and everything's ready to work. So what I'm going to do now is go on to resources. Now, these are some slides I've prepared previously. So I've got just a small set here. We're not actually going to do them, but show you. And it's just a set of 6 slides, an introduction slide, and a variety of questions there. So these are the slides that I want to present. Okay, so we're ready now to think about how we're going to present them. The great thing about ClassComm is it gives you lots of options, lots of different ways that you can present things. You've got just inside this middle section the options you have. Now the first one is to decide whether you're going to do an existing class. So these will be classes. If you look on the bottom right, I've got a list of classes, various size groups, etc. These I constructed from the master list, and again that's another webinar just to show you how to do that. So these are pre-prepared classes, stable groups that I know I'm going to keep coming back to. And again, what you'll notice if you look in the list of their names, there's a little tick box next to their name. This is like a register. So if for one session I'm not there, you just untick that box. So if student 10 wasn't there, I've just unchecked it. And I'll know when I look at results and everything that for whatever reason that student was away from that session. But what I'm going to do is an ad hoc class presentation because that just involves another little process, which again is very useful. It just allows you to go into any group, set it up instantly, and again, that will record all your results. On the presentation mode, you have choices. Now, we're going to concentrate on record assessment because this is the one that's probably the most used because it collates all the data, so every answer that's pressed will be recorded and allocated to the person who's got that handset. Review slides is just a simple run through of slides. Survey, you'll just not give any right or wrong answers, and spontaneous is, as it says, you can make an instant question up. They're all useful in their own ways, but we'll concentrate on record assessment. On the box on the right-hand side, now we said it's ad hoc class, so those top 2 are grayed out, but we can go to a few choices here. Single response per handset. I always click that. Once on a slide somebody sent the answer in, then it's locked. They can't send another answer till the next slide. If I unclick that, then they can keep changing their answer. Student feedback. Now I find that whoever uses the handset does like the instant feedback. So in the screen on the handset, you'll see a ticker across. They will know instantly whether they've got the answer right or wrong. And again, it's certainly with children, they find that's quite positive. Auto response taken. This is when you see the slide, it is live. So as soon as the slide comes up in front of the children, the question slide, they can press their answer as soon as they want. If I unclick this, they've got to wait for me to press the green button for them to start. It might be that you just want to slow participants down a bit, get them to think first, and then press go. Again, I tend to go for auto response because I sometimes forget to press the green button. Threshold, show if threshold is below. This, if you put a figure in here, you don't have to. I tend to go very simply 50%. If 50% or more gets the answer wrong when I stop the questions coming in or being answered, the responses coming in. If it's 50% or below get it wrong, it will flash up a little note on the screen saying below threshold. This is for my information, and it might be during the presentation. I think we need to go back over that question, or perhaps we might stop at that question and just re-look at it. So again, it's just an added piece of information for you as the presenter. So I've made choices there. So again, now at the end of each question, there are some games. This is very motivational, a little bit competitive, but again, I find children and adults do enjoy this. So if I go to select game, we have a choice of games, Suspense, and you can see from the picture at the bottom some idea of what you're getting. These are little animated games, and whoever is in the lead, their car or runner will have their number on it, and they will go first. So you've got a choice, and again, do add to these. So if you keep your software up to date, you'll see when any new ones come along. I think I'll just settle for sprints. You don't really need to do handset standby times. The handsets do turn themselves off after a short period. This is for power saving. And again, if there's quite a wait between questions, then you do need to remind people, make sure your handset is on, otherwise it's not going to send an answer. Pace settings. Here I can control the pace. Now, once you set the question, if I do not set any pace settings, I've got to say when the question's finished. So I press the red button to say time's up. So that's down to me in control. With control pace, what I can do is a bit like a countdown program on a television. I can set a time of 10 or 15 seconds. There'll be a countdown clock, and then the question will be cut off at the end of that time. What I can also do is, when we were setting up the questions from PowerPoint on a grid, we could actually give individual times to questions. So again, I've got a choice. I could do a umbrella time, or I can do individual times. Again, because it's so motivational, then I find that I never have problems with encouraging people to answer. So I tend to skip over that. Again, that's your choice. Like I say, it's got lots of choices in there for your individual needs. Okay, because these are the formats I use most often, then I can just come down and I can use that as my default setting. So next time I open this up, unless I want to change my presentation, that will be set for me. Right, now, because I've clicked ad hoc class presentation, I need to make a new class. So what I need to do here, if I go down to my bottom right, click on New Class, then I get the ad hoc class presentation window open up. And all I do now is click on Capture Names, and ask the participants to just use texting to send their name in. So I'm going to try and do names very quickly. This is where my slowness at texting doesn't help me. And so my first one's come in, and you can see my name and my handset ID. Let me try another one. Bear with me. Send, and I'll just do one more. Let's have a look. And it's nearly there. So Rav, Bill, and John. So small group of 3. That's fine for the moment. Stop capture. That's done. So click on done. Need to give this a name. So I'm just going to call it Demo Group 1. Teacher name. Let's just put some initials in and save. And you can see up above that there's my new class list. So that was quite simple, though it took me a while because I'm the only one putting names in. That's quite an easy exercise to do. Right, so I've set up how I want my presentation. I've set up my ad hoc class. All I need to do now is go to present activity. So if I click on present activity, that will put all my settings in place. So that's just winding itself up. Give that a second. Here we go. Right. So here, this is my question slide. First one. Now, if you look at the bar on the bottom, it tells you it's an information slide. I've got the names of or the numbers of the handsets. It tells me on the right I've got 3 active handsets. I'm going to choose to show student names. So if I click on there instead of numbers, I have their names instead. That's great for a small group, more difficult with a large group. And on the right-hand side, the toolbar here, floating toolbar. Now I can either use the teacher handsets or work directly off the screen. So what I'm going to do is very simply move on to the next slide because it's my introduction. And this is a false question, and it's the correct spelling, for maneuver. So check handsets are on. So this is just to press a green or red button. So I press the first one, and you can see that it's changed color, and it tells me I've had results. Press the next one, and then the third one. So these would be the videos coming in. And because everyone's answered, I can see there, I can stop that slide. So stop recording. Below threshold. So that means more than 50% have got that wrong. Let's have a look at the chart. So go down here or use the handset, click on there, and this tells me who's answered what. So we've got 2 that say it's true, 1 that says it's wrong. So again, we can show that in different ways, pie chart, grid. Let's just close that. Let's play the game. So view game. Number 3 came first for that. So we're ready to go on to the next slide. So if I click next slide, which of these is the biggest? And again, this is a multiple choice. So we're looking at A, B, or C. So checking the handsets are on. Let's put some answers in. And again, we can see all names have changed color. 3, that's everyone's answered. So I'm going to stop recording there. Click that. And no below threshold. So that's encouraging. The group seems to have done well. And again, if I click on the view chart, press the chart button on the handset, everyone got that right. So that's a better result for that. Very quickly, if I just move on Now this is multiple mark. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to move on, or close the presentation because it's more or less the same thing going on. Do you want to save this? Go back, and that's very simply how you present those slides. Just if I want to check how later how the results were, if I go to reports, click on reports, I choose whichever group I was doing. So all the groups are here. Demo 1, that's not going to show me a lot. Which test was it? I think we've only done one. Oh no, I didn't save it, so I'm going to have to choose another class. So let's choose this one. They've only done one quiz, so if I click on the tests, it will give a list of the quizzes that have been done, generate reports, and if you look above, you've got different types of reports. Let's go for ad hoc class answer report A, generate reports, and what these will do is print your data in different ways. So each handset did. Again, you can chop and change it in different ways according to which type of reports you want. And it's exactly the same for charts. If I go on charts, I choose the class, the test, choose what type of graph I want, show 3D chart, and again, graph. And again, if you've got the same group over and over, all of their data will be collected and collated. So it's keeping a running record of your assessments. So you can see how good that is in terms of assessing, collecting data, particularly formative and summative assessment, but also very motivational for the children. So that's doing a ClassComm presentation. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you very much indeed for looking at this webinar. So let me just end the meeting. So thank you very much indeed.